Welcome back as we continue to delve into some breathtaking, magical performances that you can get a front row seat to. Every winter, Canal Walk transforms into a theatrical wonderland. And this year marks their 23rd annual production. That's incredible in itself, with a magical new twist on a beloved classic, Aladdin. Directed by Fred Abrahamsa and Marcel Meyer and brought to life by a brilliant South African cast, this bold new production brings flying carpets, obviously, genies, yes, and heartfelt storytelling to life for audiences of all ages. The grown-ups are just as welcome. And joining us in studio is the composer, lyricist, and co-writer of the show himself, Marcel Meyer, who is here to take us behind the scenes of what looks like the most magical, updated version of Aladdin we have seen. And of course, Cape Town families and anyone traveling down here, we are set for the holidays. So on behalf of all parents, bless you. Thank you for doing this. I love it. Marcel, congratulations. No mean feat, reimagining a story that we all know and love, but what a treat to be able to delve into it. So give us a bit of background. Explain your take on Aladdin.
So it's always great to revisit a classic that everyone knows. Sure. But when you start interrogating what the story really is about, it's fundamentally about two young people who feel they don't subscribe to what society is telling them they should be. So Aladdin believes there's more to him than just being a poor beggar boy in Baghdad.
There's more than meets the eye.
Absolutely. The princess believes there's more than just being this beautiful young woman trapped in this gilded cage. And then each of them go on this journey of self-discovery. And I think that remains resonant whether you're 5 or 50. We're all constantly evolving and trying to find our most authentic selves. And I think that's essentially what that story is about and why it remains a classic and why we want to revisit it time and time again.
And I think the timing is great for the story because I am meeting more empowered young South Africans than I ever have. I'm meeting more South Africans who prescribe to those two feelings than I ever have. They want to see themselves viewed in a different light. They want to tap into a different energy. So I love feeding this energy is a beautiful thing. But now you're dealing with a story that everyone knows and loves. So when you get into that creative process, what does that even look like? Where do you begin when you reimagine a classic like this?
Well, it's always daunting because people obviously have expectations because it's so well loved and everyone has their own memory of when they saw it as a pantomime or the Disney film, or there's so many, or heard it as a fairy tale read to them as a child. So you always have to try and honor people's expectations of it, but you want to give them the opportunity to revisit it as if it's for the first time as well.
Exactly.
So that just takes a lot of time, really interrogating every moment of the story. Are you truly authentic to that moment of the story? And how magical can you make it for the audience?
Authenticity, it comes to bear in these spaces. But what I love is the collaborative effort here, because everyone has to stand up. And it looks like you got the best in the biz for everything. Can we take a moment for set design? With this particular story, you've got to transport people there. Talk us through the production itself, because it looks amazing.
Thank you. Well, it's always a challenge making theatre wherever, but to make theatre in the middle of a mall
exactly.
takes even more magic and more people to bring that to life. So the entire promotions court is transformed into a 500-seat theatre for the audience. And then Just Sets has realized Fred's brilliant design that can transport audiences from the streets of Baghdad to the Cave of Wonders without all the benefits of, let's say, the Artscape Theatre where you have fly bars and revolves.
So or an actual magic carpet. Huh?
And we have an actual magic carpet that flies up and down with Aladdin and the princess in the climactic moments of the play. So it's really, really magical. And the entire team who have worked on this production have outdone themselves, and we've really had the best people in the creative sector in the mother city working on this production, making costume. Every costume has been made from scratch, new for this production, wigs, everything.
I've been pushing this narrative in the panto space for a while now because of how many jobs get created from these kind of productions and how many people get introduced to theatre through these kind of productions. It's accessible theatre of the top tier, which is amazing. So thank you for being that. How do you do it though? What hat do you wear? And does one hat dominate the others? Is the music the most important thing? Is that the emotional connection that you lean into? Do you have to just basically be a crazy person with 50 voices in your head at any moment of the day?
I think it is that, because all these art forms come to, that's what makes theatre so exciting, because it's a blending of so many things. It's music, it's storytelling, it's comedy, it's design, fashion, what we wear, the world we create. So
Social commentary to a degree.
Absolutely, because theatre always has to mean something, whether it's children's theatre or a Shakespeare. If it doesn't speak to us now immediately about what we're trying to deal with as a society, then what is the point of it? Otherwise, it just becomes a museum piece you can lock away.
Yeah, there's a relevance, and maybe,
Absolutely.
and again, the timing kind of fits that. There was something exciting about this production, but also you've laced in purpose in other ways. When I talk about the Reach Trust, what was that connection, and what are you wanting to achieve with this production?
Well, since the inception of these annual winter musicals at Canal Walk 25 years ago,
That's
which we lost 2 years of
amazing.
COVID, so that would have been our 25th anniversary this year,
Yeah.
but the 2 COVID years, obviously no theatre, has always been affiliated with a charity. So it's the essence of kids doing it for kids. So young people coming, having their first, hopefully, experience of live theatre, becoming a theatre lover for life, and then proceeds of the ticket sales or program sales always then go to a charity to help various charities over the years. Almost millions of rands have been raised to do something good for the greater society. So while we are having a good time seeing the show, we're also helping people
in the most fundamental way.
So
yeah.
it's a wonderful cycle of giving, which the theatre has always done.
And then I get to interview the young actor that gets inspired by being front of house.
So
To
many
see
people
that.
have told those stories that they were 5, 10 when they saw their first show at Canal Walk, and now they...
That's core memory
Great
stuff. I
performance
get it,
in their
man.
own
I love
right.
it. Do you have a favorite number? Is that asking like, do you have a favorite child?
Oh, it is not fair. The Magic Carpet Ride is magical, and Anzio and Michaela sing it like
They
two
nail it.
songbirds. It's so magical, and the light, it's just theatre magic coming together. And then there's a big production number where the Genie also says to Aladdin, basically, that magic is really in you. It's not an external thing like a magic lamp. You've got to find your own magic in your heart.
And I've got to ask this question because a lot of us did grow up with it. Are we going to see Aladdin in a different light? Is this going to give us, the die-hard Aladdin fans, what we want out of this? How should an Aladdin fan of the OG story approach this version?
I think you will get what you are expecting in terms of your love for the story, and hopefully it will reignite why you fell in love with it in the first place. Because it's such a great story about self-discovery, about authenticity, about believing that we are more than society just tells us we should be, and that there's really magic in us rather than in an external thing like a magic lamp.
I love that. Don't wait for the Genie to arrive, even though our Genie has miraculously arrived just in time for the school holidays. If you're looking for an opportunity to do something that's wholesome and safe and wonderful, magical with your kids that will inspire them, and I speak from personal experience, it was these shows that got me into this industry. That's where these seeds were planted. It sounds like the cast are on another level for this one. So forget about just spending those winter holidays just shopping. You can now go and have a wholesome, enriching experience with one of the most loved productions with a magical new twist. Marcel, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
Break a leg.
Thank you.